Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm your host, Stephen Topham the third, at your service. Now we're going to be talking about this topic a bit seriously this time, more than it is just the learning curve. It's what the title is, the learning curve. Now, a lot of you will think, why we got to learn the basics again? Now, a lot of you don't know from Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you may feel like you don't understand what's going on forwardly in front of you. The North Norfolk Railway doesn't exist, right? You have to accept it as abandoned railway system, something that is still working in order, just a little bit screwed up because everybody doesn't know which way they're turning, left, right, or centre, and we have to acknowledge that the connection I have for that railway, William Marriott, is one of my connections, right? We have to establish that. So, acknowledging that, there are few people that are connected to the franchise without having to acknowledge to you. Grizzly, Thompson, Peppercorn, and most of the others as well, if you want to name it this way. Sinclair, S.W. Johnson, Brimley, Woolsdale, Horden, obviously, and acknowledge that these are real people. These are not BSs. Hill, then Scar, Parker, Pollitt, Robertson, Stringley, Ivett, Grizzly again, Cowan, Hatt, Johnson, Pickersquill, Haywood, Stringley, Marriott, obviously, Wheatley, Drummond, Holmes, Reid, Chambers, Fletcher, obviously, Macadale, Tennant, obviously, Rosedale again, W. Smith, Raven, Burt, Bolt, or Butch, but Bullhand, Jones, Muswell Cell, Riddles, and Stainer. All of those are all my private connections, plus myself, obviously. And we have to acknowledge that. That's a true fact. How many of us are floating about, right? A lot of us don't know why it's all connected, right? But then, when the railways got into their prime, people start to ask the learning curve. Ding, 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 ding. We learned we were the intelligent people on the planet, but we were not normal railway men or women, even that. We acknowledge that there is more to it than meets the eye. You have to put yourselves and realize, oh, sugar, yes, it is that way. It's real life of Thomas and Friends from the beginning of 1845 onwards. Everybody's thinking this is all a joke, a hoax, a whatever, charade, whatever. Right? The North Norfolk Railway's dead. Right? They got a learning curve now. Right? They have to establish this is real life. This is not fiction. Right? The M&GN and the Great Eastern upside down is the North Western Railway, as we've been trying to tell you from the first video to this video, and then probably onwards and onwards, to get you a heads up, wake up, get that in your mind, and realize it's realistic, right? We have to establish it. We have to make sure you understand what's unfolded. You've got a fat controller that's trying to help you, guide you, support you in every direction. Really usefulness, right? Everything the North Norfolk Railway has done, right, for you, right up to 2016, was fine, right? Then from that on, pit, everything started to get either that people's routine was out of whack, people's jobs on top of that got out of whack. By 2019, everybody was been sworn at, cursed out, just to get boot, just to get it off. It's like saying the diesel team were out of order, right? Saying let's boot these people up, boom, 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 in every weaknesses that they got, right? When they came to me, they acknowledged that if you listen to Duck's story, that will fill in the gap for that, right? We acknowledge that uh, there is no, there's no word as such as I can't to keep on there, right? Right? When they ban people, right? They think they're banning them for good. No, it's against the law a little bit. It's just a little bit of a twist, but to understand, learning it, curving it, really like a learning curve to really understand what goes on that premises. People don't need to be notified because they already read it in a book, right? The book tells the truth. It's honest truth, no lies, no deceits, and no deceptions, right? You have to establish it's realistic, right? It's not when the hacks come back in play every time you ending up with a problem, right? You end up with a big problem you can't solve, right? You put yourselves in the fire, right? You having a fight, argument, whatever, it doesn't matter. The problem is, it's easier not to boot people out, right? There's a lot of time where people just think they got rights to swear, curse at them, and boot them out, boot them out, boot them out, with all their weaknesses on top. I said, you do not discriminate, you do not do this, and you do not do that on that premises. That premises is so magical, you can't even realise who has actually got the actual understanding. People have to wake up, stir up, realise it, realistically, get it in your heads, and understand it's all there, black and white. What's missing? Why did we fuck up? Excuse my language, it's coming out now. This is the understanding. Why are they're asking themselves, why did we fuck up? Why? The Norfolk Railway's name has gone downhill. Look at it. White people want mending, fixing, understanding, learning curve for everything. Right? I'm giving you all, right? Don't screw up. Because I'll be up there like a shot trying to sort it out. Because I'm your only hope. Your only understanding through it all. You can't abuse me. Because if you abuse me, it's like saying, okay, right, you have to really, really understand. I could be up there like a shot and try and get it sorted face to face contact. I want more of that, less of online basis all the time. But people have to learn it the hard way now. The hard way is the learning curve job. You got to learn it the hard way. I got contacts, you don't. Right? You're worried that you're going to lose something. No, don't worry about you're not losing anything. It's just the people have to realise the value of having the Norfolk Railway up there, or the M&GN as they call it in the olden days, and then you got the NWR in the future. You got to realise it's there for a reason. Why? Why? My granddaughter, Emily Helen Hatt, is going to see through you like a bullet. Why? Do you know why? She will respect me because I did something that nothing is impossible. Right? Everybody's mistreating me, misguiding me at the moment, and thinking that I'm gone really out of my mind, but I'm not. I've been honest with you. I said, don't screw up because my granddaughter will kick your ass. You know, it's like saying she won't kick your ass, but she will do it verbally and she will do it in a correct fashion, right? Richard will only help you for 2 years, but he's not in the picture yet. Ding ding, Suffolk needs re-correcting there, so I've got to re-correct my little problem as well as re-correcting you lot. Right? You think it's all loosey goosey, a load of hoax? I said, watch it. What happens? Right? You lost. Right? You got the B12 Hazel already on overhaul. Right? You've got wine up there. You've got a K2 up there. You don't realise you've got a K2? Oh shit. Where's the K2 coming from? The Y14. Now work that out. Doesn't take a genius to work that out. Why? A lot of people think this is all loosey goosey. I said, no, it isn't. People seen reality of Thomas and Friends. You are Thomas and Friends. The only problem is you just got to put yourselves, where do we all fit in this and why are we all connected to this? I said, Wild Norwester, my friend, my connection, saying to you, don't screw up. Don't screw his life up. Basically, he's telling you, don't screw my life up. Right? Because then everything will fuck up. Excuse my language. But it's really what it's doing. Right? There is one thing you must not do in a part of the law system. Right? Anybody of my or any of my family gets killed, right, by a gun, like my friend from America stated, don't shoot a hat or you go to prison for life. Because the hat is not easy to reincarnate, right? Right? I'm giving you a head start of understanding what you got is precious as gold. Now everybody's saying, what does he mean by gold? Well, we don't have gold as such, but the whole family will find a way around you. They will coordinate with eyes and ears everywhere, looking for people to say, look, friend of family, foe of the family. Connection, yes, friend, family, friend, and connection. Three things, right? You have to realize, why are we doing this again as it did in 1958? Then people start to bring it all back up and bring it into the alignment of fire. Right? I'm going to tell you here and now, grow up. Because if you right, if you kill a member of the Hatt family, you'll go to prison. Right? That's the truth. But the barrier of understanding of why the Hatts exist is because they always come back. But they don't, not all the time. There's a way around this why we come back every generation. And understand why we procreate, as they say. But the learning curve around this is understanding, why does the Thomas story still continue after season 24? Well, my grandfather saw it, my father saw it, and myself saw it. Ding, 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 3 times. Right now, I'm going to say, when you're on that platform on the Norfolk Railway, it's not just a normal bloody platform you're going on, right? The platform itself, platform 1 and 2, um, are secretly safeguarded for obvious reasons, right? And when people knew what was going on, right, they didn't intervene, they didn't have to jump in. The only thing is, well, there's one thing that I learned over the years is that you can't fight against the law. The law is the law, as I remember my grandfather maybe saying all to you guys in strict coordinates. And it's just saying the law is a law. Simple as. Right? You can't fight against the law. Right? When you've got a member of the Hatt family floating about, they come first. Why? Because one of the days that every time we reincarnate or we come back fighting, why? You, from a learning curve direction, you're probably learning gathering information and understanding about me. I'm not a normal human being the way you think. Right? When I'm walking, having a cup of tea like I normally would, and have a normal routine like I always do, the first things first, the North Norfolk Railway is my number one priority. Why? That's not just a normal routine, may I add. Right? The North Norfolk Railway screwed up. Why? Because they booted me out, right? We all know about Duck's story and how why they booted me out, why they coordinated, why did they the one thing they actually did do, which I will would make you understand. Why? It's happened once. It's happened twice. Now, two strikes. Why? Why? When this has all happened before, through my grandfather's era, we had the exact same problem. Why? It feels like a lot of you have got a lot of explaining to do. Right? I don't mind talking to you. I don't mind associating with you. It's just getting that learning curve to realise there's more of us floating about. Right? And then you've got to realise why is the LNER, the London North Eastern Railway Company, so involved? A lot of people don't just get it anymore, do they? When they see everything unfold in the correct way, the learning curve comes with it. The learning, understanding, physically understanding, not just a bloody normal routine here. Right? When the thing comes, right? When everything comes to you, the North Norfolk where they screw up. Why? Are they in the right way or are they in the wrong way direction? You know, when Duck always approached me, right? Duck, yep, the green engine we all love and adore, right? He always says it's either the Great Western Way or the No Way. Work it out, right? People got pissed off of it so much in the past that it happened again, but in reverse. Why? Why did the Fat Controller never got it done? They done it the right way the first time, right? When it came to the second time, it was landing on me, not the other way round, right? So who screwed up, right? Who screwed up, right? We all talked about learning curve, right? There's a one thing that I'm gonna really put down on a learning curve for you, right? The North Norfolk Railway can't move forward. Why? You want the learning curve to be a good podcast this morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you listen to it? Work it out. I don't want you to feel like I'm a bad person because I'm not a bad person. I wasn't brought up to be a bad person. Never was. Right? Now you're learning. You're learning that why are all these people involved in the first place? Like I said, names, surnames have a lot in common. But why? We never reveal our wives. Why? Safeguard. Safeguard for me, safeguard her. Why? We don't mention about our wives. We never mention about my like I said, we can talk about our children, but we don't mention who the wife is. Why? Safeguard. Safeguarding everything we know. Why? A lot of people probably know who my wife is, as example, but they won't say nothing about it because they let it play out. When it comes down to the actual railway, as it concerns about, this is a learning curve for them. Why? Why is the railway so so corrupt or not fixed or not correctly done or not correctly fixed in a certain way. What is going on, right? You have two versions of Thomas and Friends, right? You've got the RWS and you've got the CGI, right? Working at the same time. So work it out. You have Sydney and the Diesel team, obviously. Now, a lot of you are probably asking, where's Diesel 10? Off limits. Right? I know who it is, but I'm not at liberty to say. Why? The thing is, when people want information from me, they want to know it big time, big style, right? The truth is, let what happened has happened set in stone. Yes, you may be trying to move forward, but you can't because it's a gap. Number one, obviously. Number two, you screwed up. This is a Norfolk Railway fault right now. They screwed up, but it wasn't the employees or the volunteers that were there before. So work it out. When they got abused, right, they say it's a bad railway. Right, the word goes round, right? The management are screwed because they lost. They will lose everything they got. Why? Right? My granddaughter will see everything unfold completely. Right? Because it'd be after my time. But I get to see her. Why? What is the secret behind it all? My granddaughter and my son are part of this package. Why? Why is my son and my granddaughter so well connected with it? Work it out. There's a little catch there where the Norfolk Railway screwed up big time. Right? They don't give a damn what each day they're going to keep doing the same pattern. Right? Everybody will start to get pissed off. Why? Because they say, oh, it's the same pattern every day, same routine, same everything they do every day, right? When it goes to another timetable, like the green one or blue one or the yellow one, whatever, it doesn't matter. It applies, right? The website is shit, right? They're not going to learn from their mistakes, right? What's the first thing you do when you look at the Norfolk Railway? People that are trying to push forward can't push forward, right? You've got engines that are on that system right now that are related to the Wild Nor'Westers timeline. Now, if you were watching this from season 4 to 5, and then it goes straight into my granddaughters and all of that, it's going to click, click, click into place. You don't intervene, right? The law probably is a standby on the left, but then you got to let the Norfolk Railway play their timeline out correctly. But if they don't, they screw up everything, right? As they do, left, right, and center. We talk about learning curve. We're going through a learning curve. Why? Because you need understanding. You need principles. The uh, the railway men don't reveal our railway wives. Why? Because we keep it trade secret, right? A lot of people tend to let it play out naturally to a point, but there is times when it is. But the Hats have a little different scenario where all their timeline is already written in black and white. Why is that? Let me give you a hint, right? If season 5 continues the way it is, right? Everything that was written should play out as naturally, right? You got a lot of blank pages and you're screwing yourselves over, right? When it gets back to the beginning, you gotta start working out why. The fast controller goes back on the Norfolk Railway, right? Everybody establishing him as a single man, right? As they will do to begin with, obviously. Then his children comes into play. Then his wife comes into play. Why? His private life or my private life is all privatised to a certain level, right? But I know whatever's going on that railway, I know what everything is happening, right? You start to see everything unfold, right? Everything is unfolding the correct way. But you're gonna end up, right? The North Norfolk Railway is screwed up at the moment, right? At this moment. They don't know what is just on. They're just a bit surprised, a bit spooked, a bit shocked, a bit of this, a bit of anger, a bit of happiness, a bit of this, a bit of that. And everybody's like, the management are so screwed up in their heads, they don't know what's going left, right, or centre. So they're going to end up picking up the pieces somewhere. So the learning curve is like saying, right, we can't screw this up or we screw that up, or I will notify it. I've been notified about it. Even if my timeline plays out correctly, yours won't. And I'll be seeing what should be unfolding naturally, right? I predicted so long ago, before you had that level crossing, right? I said to Dirk, right, when he was in front of the taxi at one point, and I was very young, and I was very clever to say to my Dirk, I bet him a 5 million quid. Why was that? I bet him, right? 5 million quid. That's what I bet on him. I said to him, the North Norfolk Railway is going to get its level crossing. And that's before it came into play. So what happened? You got your level crossing. Now start using it. Why? Because you're going to be using it on a regular basis. Because you're not guaranteed. You got what you needed. So I predicted it before it even got registered, if you would like to call it. And you saying, oh, now the management is fucked because the management is stuck in the middle. They can't go left, they can't go right, they can't go centre, they can't go forward, and they can't go back. Right? They think this is all hooey. I said, no, it hasn't been hooey at all in any angle. And then you're going to acknowledge that this is not a joke. Right? So when you realise I've been knowing stuff before you did, or before you took the action, right? A lot of this has played out correctly. But why? Then when the North Norfolk Railway screwed up, this is where the management fucked up. So bloody badly they don't know where to turn. They don't know if they're going left, right, centre, up, down, whatever. They're probably looking at their routine during the day, right? You have, right, let's take this as example, right? Where do you see the management going right now? Right? At this moment, I'm watching eyes and ears everywhere. Why? I'm not ashamed. Why? I'm innocent. My duck is innocent. We're all innocent. Why? Because you're trying to in Duck's story, it tells you straight off, right? What happened in 2019, and I'm not going to repeat myself again. You can listen to that many times you want, and I will effectively help the children understand at some point. Not right now, because it's a learning curve to be learned. The 15-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, up, up, up. They got to learn everything we have learned, right? But they're not going to make the same mistake twice. Why? We had it twice. Lightning strikes twice in every corner, right? A lot of you have to pick up how does season 5 of Wild Nor'Wester's timeline continue. Now, you've got a lot of blank pages right now, and I'm writing everything in, right? You lot have to establish what has been established, and what has been connected. You have to realise what you've got in front of you and realise how does he get this connected? How did he know? How did he knows everything? I know that Emily Helen Hatt is ready, but she's not ready yet because she's not born yet. Right? You've got to take really 20 years ahead. Right? Or even Richard, right? Let's take Richard, right? You have to establish everything has a purpose, right? I am going through all my, what you will call, employees list, right? I'm going through every one of you, right? Doesn't matter if it's on Facebook or in the books or in the document or anything. What happened is, what I know is because it played out, right? When you lot are screwing it all up right now, what are you gaining when you haven't got me on a platform? Ask yourself the question. This is a question I'm asking you and the community out there. Take this as a learning curve action. Right? You're learning. The Fat Controller, myself, the third gen, has to go back on the Norfolk Railway. Why? If I don't, the damage will be done. The damage that should not be done. Right? So the damage was done by the diesel team, and they're not seeing what's been unfolded, right? They don't know how lucky they are. They're selfish, right? You've got to realistically say, what, the management is selfish? The answer is yes. Why? Why boot somebody out that's got this potential and intelligence like this? What was the biggest screw up that made them so bad to begin with? It's like a bad gang, you know what I mean? It's like saying, right, you got the Steam team, all action wise, right, doing their timelines separately. I don't have to worry about it too much. I'm letting it play out, right? The diesel team screwed up. They need booting out. They need They need booted out because if they don't get booted out, the Norfolk Railway is fucked by the time my granddaughter comes into play. And then see, I don't want that problem to be established to say, look, here's my granddaughter, there you go. Right? She goes on that platform and she can't be on that platform because you told her that she can't. Right? You got established that if you did that to my son Richard, right, you're going to end up if you told him he can't go on that platform, right? You already told me that I couldn't go on it because you told me all. Basically, if you banned me, you banned the whole fucking family, the whole lot. So ask yourself the question: how can you correct a problem that you've done, not me personally? You banned people, you kicked people out that have done nothing wrong to the railway at all times. So work it out. You're going forward and you're stuck in the middle still. Why is it? Ask, I'm asking people, learning curve here. Think. Think about it logically. This is not a joke. This is not a way. It's every day you screwed up, you've got to work out how can we fix a problem that's been gone for nearly 5, 6 years ago. We left, you know what you mean? You left it there. I cleared it up. I cleared my name, Duck's name, everybody's name, and said they're all innocent. Grow up. You're not achieving any goals, for God's sake. Norfolk Railway has a name. Oh, do we care at this moment? No. They're all avoiding you. They all say, we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. Why? Because they're too proud, because they got something better than you. Right? They've got something even better than what you're actually understanding. The learning curve, why is a hat so important? When the fat controller rises, so does steam. So work it out. What have they got what the Norfolk Railway hasn't got? And I will kick out the other management because they don't deserve to be on there. Because the disrespect is already there. But the people have to see it to understand and believe when they go on it. Are they gonna appreciate everything you're offering them? No, not straight away. Not even the learning. In this learning curve, you've got a fleet that's bigger than you. Right? You've got a management that's so bent. You've got a fat controller that's waiting outside patiently and learning it all and making sure what he said this and he said that. Come, if you really want to, I said, look, I'm not there to fight. I'm not there to argue. But I need reinsurance because my son is the next one to go in there. I'm also there to go on there, right? And my granddaughter is the next one to go in there. Why is that? Ask yourself that question. It's the question that's already in black and white. We can't reveal our whys at all. Why? In every generation and every course of action, right, there are things in play that you can't fully understand. Right? When the fat controller rises, so does steam, right? The diesel team is falling. I remember my contact from America stating, for every diesel that drops out, a new steam comes in. Why? Steam engines are more reliable than diesels, and they always have been. Fact. That is total fact. They are more reliable than diesels. The diesels could go day and night, and then they will have when they break down, they break down. When the steamy goes along, ding ding ding, ding cold water, ding ding ding, going down. When it loses a piston, it can still drive with one piston and still have your delivery on time. If I remember my old first connection stated in front of you, right? It doesn't take a genius to work that out. But the Norfolk Railway won't. Why? Because they all screwed up in their heads. So when you got all of this problem, acknowledge to yourself and acknowledge that the Hats and the steam team are all innocent. Why? Because we didn't do nothing wrong. Never would. The reason I know that I'm innocent is because my story has unfolded correctly. So when you acknowledge that that the North Norfolk Railway is in the wrong, they're not going to accept that. They're just going to move on and carry on what are they doing, right? But they're going to lose customers. Customers will lose faith in them. Why? They will lose faith in them for a reason, not because they don't care. They care about the line. They care about the engines. They care about whatever's there, right? But when it comes down to the people, they want respect. They want honesty and trust, right? I'm being honest with you, right? The management has lost. They don't know what to do. They've got so much on their plate. They don't know how to help each other or help them or help this and help that. Right, new steamies coming in all the time. Diesels will fall down, and they will continue that pattern. Why? So when the thing comes to you, don't screw it up this time. Because we just had two, we had my grandfather that went through this, and my father went through this, right? My grandfather was so much, Sir Topham Hatt the first was so respected right now, so am I, right? People were pissed about, right? We have to acknowledge that the North Norfolk Railway is so irresponsible at the moment to realise what did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? Or they don't understand what they're doing wrong. They don't understand what what is unfolded. They can't understand why is this? Why is this guy so powerful? Or acknowledge why. Why? Because I was safeguarded by my family, not just by my friends and colleagues and connections. Right? Right? If you didn't have all those three, you'd be go the whole thing would be out of whack. Right? There were people that should not been in right now because we're getting to the point of season 5. We're acknowledging who's who and what is what. When people like the Steam team will know this, but they won't say nothing about it because they've got to keep their mouths shut. Right? The Steam team are angry with the North Norfolk Railway, as example, including myself, obviously, and acknowledge that to make sure that you're in the wrong, you've got to put it right. I could put it right. Obviously, I could go up there and sort them out once and for all and correct the problem. But it needs to be done in the correct way. You can't do it when you're in public, where this is where all this problem began. It's all you, the management was very bad. So bad. It was like a bad ass group, right? Sydney was the victim, I was the victim, and then everything went messed up. So who do we blame for that? Devious Diesel, who was Andrew Mudden, former North Norfolk Railway manager. Now, if you boot him out already, which you have done, he won't be coming back to this railway ever again. Period. So what happens? The management that is in there right now can't do nothing. The hands are tied. So when you realise that you screwed up, right, the North Norfolk Railway will have to get rid of the management and said, look, we don't want any more management. All we need is me. Why? Because I'm only 5 minutes down the road. Phone them. I don't need to lecture them. It's a learning curve that you're mistakenly understood. Look, when people learn from what's been unfolded and actually realize that you had intelligent people working for you, intelligent people that can observe, watch, understand, and do. Right? So, right, I'm gonna tell you now, right? The way went before I was completely booted was like one person could do this job, one person could do that job. Do you know what? That's what I call discrimination. Right there, right then. Because I experienced it myself and it went forward. Right? So, the diesel team made you work singly instead of in pairs. Okay, let's take it for example, right? You had a single person working for one thing, right? I'm now going to reveal the biggest secret of all time, right? You all wanted to know why we can't work in singles. Why? Why do we work in pairs? It's the question I'm asking everybody. Why do we work in pairs, not singles? Why? Let me say a private connection, Bill and Ben, two private connections, said to me, you cannot work singly. Why? Let me put this in perspective for you, right? If you work in singles, right, if the accident occurred on the premises, then it's down to the Norfolk Railway because they will lose what you will call, right? Let me give you an example, right? This is based on a true story. This is no fuck up, right? This is based on a fucking damn true story. And you want, it will open your eyes a lot more, right? A lot of you understand railway men take risks, right? We understand that. When you're working on your own, don't, right? On October the 19th, 1934, about 2 o'clock in the morning, when it was very dark, and my ancestor at the time, his name was Robert Cossey. Now, a lot of you know the Cossey family quite well, with my great uncle Herbert Cossey. That's his brother, right? He was working, his brother, right, Robert, was working at Whitwell Station. He put his neck on the line, right, because he was so drunk and he was doing a bit of gambling at the same time, right? He put his neck on the line and killed himself. Why? For a passing train. Right? The company, the M&GN company, the Midland Great Northern Joint Railway, ending up had to pay his fee for the funeral. Because it's old times. This is not today. Today, it'd be a lot more risky than that because the North Norfolk Railway, if it happened again, which it nearly did, right, the North Norfolk Railway would have had lost everything because of their insurance will have to cover somebody's family. So work it out. If it happened before, it will happen again. So why? Why do I tell you the truth? That's logical, fact, and really understandable to a very high degree. Right? You're all learning this, and you're all taking it as a right respect to why reason why you can't fuck up this time. I said working in singles cause damage, right? Big damage. And it covers, then it's the company's insurance that covers the family. Why? Because when one of my family, my ancestors, actually put their neck on the line and killed themselves through a passing train, he ended up getting buried on an unmarked tombstone. Can't do nothing about it. And that was in Whitwell Station. And I'm telling you now because it's realistic. It happened and it unfolded the right way. But just remember this. What happens if the North Norfolk Railway had the same problem in 1968 for a private connection? Yeah, indeedy. No joke. Right? The Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway had to do the same process. Never enough. But they didn't. Right? So let's take it from now, right? The North Norfolk Railway screwed up big time, and now you're ending up thinking, oh crud, he knows a lot more. Just wait. It will come to you and it'll hit you like a thousand volts of proper information. Not been deceitful, not lying to you, been honest with you, been straightforward with you, and you're gonna take this in and absorb it slowly and acknowledge everything that's about to unfold. You could screw up and you won't have it as the same thing. I said to you, let's work this out, right? You got me, Stephen Topham had the third, obviously. You got my son and my granddaughter, right? You've done my father and you've done my grandfather. So work it out, right? When people come together, they come together for a reason. A lot of you may not understand what family is to a point, or family or people that have a great talent or a gift or acknowledgement to understand things, how things should unfold or how things unfold correctly. They don't have to intervene so much. But the Norfolk Railway, look at them now. Are they gaining what they want or need? No, they won't get no volunteers, that's for sure, because a bad reputation gave it away. Why? Because I've been following you without you being on the premises or acknowledged. Right? Nobody did nothing wrong in 2019. The only problem is that was a complete setup by the diesel team and their colleagues and their friends and their wives. Work it all out. So, when you think how lucky you are to have something that's been put in front of you, and there was a soccer route for everybody, not just the North Norfolk Railway alone. Everybody thought 10,000k views. How lovely. Well, work it out. 10,000k views on the very first video. And acknowledge you had something under the radar that was supposed to unfold naturally, which it did. You're lucky to have me. So don't screw me up, because I will know by the actions you do. The consequences will be on you. So everything has to unfold naturally. The North Norfolk Railway management have to work out and say they probably smacked in the middle, thinking now twice, thinking what shall we do? What can we do? How do we progress forward and acknowledge that our mistakes can't, or some of them can be corrected? But look at yourselves. Look at what you're doing as what is supposed to unfold gently, but you're absorbing it slowly now. You're understanding the connection. You're understanding why. Why? Why do you think I'm keeping my steam team safe? So they don't get fucked up by the North Norfolk Railway. Why? Because the North Norfolk Railway screwed themselves up. Right? If you take out all the toxic out, all the arguments out, all the BS out, and got to the point of every point, right? All of this could be avoided, but you made it too long. So when people look up to you, they're gonna see you as the enemy, the bad guys, the enemies that had to fight back, right? When they see that, they're gonna say like, no, the North Norfolk Railway's off limits right now because they're not gonna give the proper customer service. They're not acknowledging that the management are so screwed up. Acknowledge that there are people up there that could have, right, there'll be new people going on there, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's no wrong in that, but when you acknowledge all this learning curve, you will learn everything that will unveil to you and acknowledge that the mistakes have to be earned, respected, and learned from. The thing is, the North Norfolk Railway are basically lost. A lost railway, a lost railway system that needs building up again. They can't build it up from the foundation, which I acknowledged from on the last podcast. It's not going to be that easy now, right? People have got clever and smarter and intelligent to understand this is what we got to do to fix that problem and get him back on the line. You know, I was born, raised to be with you. Doesn't matter which way you look at it, I'm here with you all the way through your lives, right? But at the same time, you have to acknowledge you booted out someone you should not boot it out, which is myself. So acknowledge that and make sure you're in the wrong. Because when you're in the wrong, you screw everything up. Right? All the people that don't believe this on the North Norfolk Railway, watch out. Because now I'm on to you. But this is not, this is, it's, regardless of what's happened in the past, you letting it repeat itself. Some events should not unfold the same again. No. It's against the rules and it's against the policy of the Temple Prime Directive if everybody's watched Star Trek a lot. I said the learning curve is what's going to make you think twice, make you realise it's realistic. People have risked their lives on the line. I said if you want people to work on the North Norfolk Railway, you have to have them in pairs. Why? Because if one has an accident, then you've got one that can survive, one that can help the situation. Do you know what? When I caught one porter on his own, he should have had a support line to help him out, right? Another one, right? Makes two, right? Always goes in twos. Don't do it in ones. It's like saying, even if you are in threes and working together in the same area and acknowledge that everything this works has to help in safety. Right? You do the trucks, let's say you do the track safety test, blah, 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 do the work, but don't work alone. Why? Because I'm trying to prevent an accident up there. That will be a bad accident, right? People will acknowledge, right? When you had that, let's take the North Norfolk Railway's car accident, which I will take into consideration, right? And that was all on a level crossing. Yes, you had to blame the car for that job, the person that was driving that car, and acknowledge the level crossing is there for everybody's safety, not just the crossing over. When you cross over, fine. When the train's gone, or when the train's just starting up, you do not cross that level crossing, right? Right? When it goes through any level crossing these days, trains think they can go zooming out, in and out, but we already acknowledge that there's a safety rule, right? We acknowledge that we have to put everybody's safety first, right? But let's talk about the porters and the guards. Are they supposed to work as single people? No. We work together as a family. We work together as pairs. We work as a team. We work as an effort. Why? Why do we do this on a working team basis? Why? So if anything happens, for example, right, you've got to acknowledge this. You've got to acknowledge that. Right? The management won't give a shit. Right? If anything happens to you on that premises, right, everyone has to work in pairs all the time and acknowledge that. Don't don't think I'm babbling on, but I'm making sure you know, right? When people realise this, it's happened before, it will happen again. Something will happen again, right? And I'm not going to be disputing on it, right? An accident occurred during the 1960s, 1968, 1969 period. An accident occurred, right? My great uncle was so badly upset that he would not let that happen again, right? So what did he do? He was working for the M&GN, LNER, forward slash, obviously, on the last days, obviously. And so he lived not very far from me, from my location, obviously, and acknowledged that everything unfolded for a reason, right? Now, the biggest learning curve you're going to understand, right? This is why we put ourselves with pairs, not in singles, right? We always survive everything. Why? Why does the steam team survive and always the diesel team falls? Why? If people just shut the North Norfolk Railway up, why, and acknowledge to realise, uh, you've got that little problem there where you can't see it. And you acknowledging you've got a problem here and you've got to need to rectify it properly and acknowledge it. But a lot of people, when my first video went up, right, everybody thought I went completely mad, whatever you want to name it. But it's all true. It's just the way it's played out. And it's not easy for one person to establish that and acknowledge that. But we also have to acknowledge everything that's in front of us. But in the end of the day, what are you gaining from one person? This is every person that's in that book, or Thomas the Tank books, as example, or the old railway books, as you like to call it, right? It's giving you clues. It's giving you answers. It's giving you the exploit, the explanation for it all. But like I said, I've got private connection in the circle. I've got a private connection in the society. Why? This is the M&GN Society and the M&GN Circle. Two separate organisations. Why is that? Connection in both of them. Two separate organisations, right? The North Norfolk Railway is going to be dead by the time it comes to summer. They will have all their customers coming in, booking time. You're asking them to book their tickets early. Won't work. Not anymore. Why? Lost trust, lost respect, lost honesty, all of it. So when you got me smack in the middle saying this is a learning curve that you got to learn. It's the hard way, but it's a hard way to learn. You want the truth, you're getting the truth. You're getting the facts, you're getting the logic, you're getting the respect, you're getting everything back slowly. But I'm not going to hand it all over to the North Norfolk Railway because it's our lives as well. Our private lives on top. I mean, this is no joke. Can you remember the first episode that I was shown in? The sad story of Henry? That's unfolded correctly. But no one knew about it. How could I be a fat controller then when it was viewing? Well, it's like the timeline is in reverse. So when you got two timelines in one episode, 2 episodes, or 24 episodes, the timeline is in reverse now. Why is that? You're starting at the beginning of season 1, episode 1. Again, why? Let me give you a hint, right? There's always a catch for this, right? A lot of you have to realize the cycle never ends. The cycle never dies. But we are still continuing from season 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, all the way to 24. And the RWS format of it all is all involved in the rest of this timeline. So work it forward, right? Did I think at the time, everybody used to call me the fat controller. I'd rather be called Stephen Topham Hatt the Third. Why, Sir Stephen Topham Hatt the Third? Why? Because it doesn't matter if you call me Sir Topham Hatt the Third, because it still applies the same, right? The real fat controller, Sir Topham Hatt the First, is dead, gone, right? You have to accept life as it goes through a cycle, right? Every 30 years, we have to actually repeat the same stories, right? We don't have a choice, right? A lot of you might think, why is he still going forward in the movies as well? Work it out. You're asking for help. You're asking for support. You want this. You want that. You've got to say, right, the fat controller's here. He needs back on the platform. But you've got a learning curve to go through. Norfolk Railway, you've got a learning curve to go through. Why? In your mind, you've got to work out, oh, it's Thompson Friends in reality. Damn, shit. Yeah, well, it's now you're crying wolf for everything. You're not going to get everything back on a silver platter now. I'm trying to help people to understand everything. The community is already aware of it because they read the book, so they're not bloody cuckoo, as they say. No, they're not. Dung, 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 dung. No. So now, the Wild Northwestern's timeline from season 4 and 5 is part of the package. So when you think there is nothing to turn to, ask yourself a question. Why is this so important? Ask yourself, why is it unfolding the correct way? Why is it acknowledged the correct way? Truth, logic. You see, a lot of people think you can rush that timeline like hell, you'd be dead by the morning. Because you don't realise that timeline that Thompson Tank has is 20 years, 40 years ahead. So you need to work out. He's 40 years ahead of us, and he's in his 80s. I'm in my 40s. Work it out. It's mathematics. Think about it. 80 divided by 2 equals 40. Okay? In every angle. And why is that? The answer's right in front of you, and you lot are all a bunch of dumbasses on the platform. If you're intelligent, you would have picked it up by now, or looking into it. People have to learn the hard way round. Me doing this is a real, like, proper live stream, but I'm also breaking it down to two-hour job. But because in the day, because you're not listening, you're not learning. You got people lives in that series. You don't realise it's all continuing, and people are not picking up, realising facts, truth is coming through. All the facts are coming through. The new ones that you don't actually see, and you don't realise it's unfolding to you. Ask yourself, how is Sydney, everyone? You know what I mean? The facts are there. So when you think, where is Sydney after all? He's unwell right now. So the truth is there in black and white. You're telling yourselves you're thinking you're being selfish? No. It's just the Norfolk Railway that's been selfish. They lie. They don't they don't realise who they booted out in the first place. So now the consequences is on them because they damaged themselves. So when they learn that they're gonna make mistakes, similar mistakes if you will, right? When things unfold in front of you, it does give you a perspective of experience. Very high experienced. But when you want the fat controller, myself, the third gen, obviously, Stephen Topham the third, has to be on the Norfolk Railway platform. Doesn't matter which way you look at it. I don't give a. At the moment, you don't realise that I'm part of the equation here, right? You got the Norfolk Railways, you got me, right? But you see, a lot of you don't realise what's unfolded. That could help you out. I didn't run or rush through this, nor would I ever attempt it, because then I will break myself from the chain. So by acknowledging to you that you're breaking your own system, the Norfolk Railway broke theirs. They broke the whole entire problem or they started to make the problem worse, worse, and worse as they keep going into the future. Why? So when my granddaughter and my son come into power, and when they do, you're gonna feel the wrath of us. Why? You're not gonna get the rise of the Hatts, which you are, which is no lie, but now you've got the learning curve. Why? You're learning, you're adapting, you're understanding, you're putting the, you're putting, it's basically all you're doing is adding an extra layer of what your memory can handle. Why? It's understanding why we talk about this in the adult way and not in the children's way. Why? The children have to go through what we've been through. So it's like the way children then become way adults. Why? They're two separate departments overall, right? When they reach their maturity of the age of 14 or 15, they start to pick up things slowly. And when they do, they're going to hit the Norfolk where they knock you out. Even myself. Why? Because I'm the first one to get back on there. Why? Because I'm their own main objective. Why? Everybody says the fat controller. Well, I just had a bloody right through Facebook, obviously, because I do monitor all railways, not just one railway network here. Right? When the railway was formed in the earlier days, right? We had the Scottish railway lines, we had the Norfolk railway lines, the UK railway lines, all in different departments, LMS, LNER, the Great Western Railway, and all the others, and you've got the other bits as well. And what you don't realise, as our families have been progressing downwards and downwards, but every time, like I said earlier in the podcast, we don't reveal our wives. Why? Private lives. We lead private lives. We acknowledge what we do, yes. We acknowledge what you're doing could be right from wrong, could be wrong. If you were doing something wrong, you've got to acknowledge that you've got to correct it quickly before or I would say, I'll correct it personally and acknowledge that you are in the wrong. The Norfolk Railway is in the wrong, right? Right, I'm not going through every heritage railway organisation around the UK just to solve all the problems out, right? Because every one of us are going to be in different sectors. I've got part of the railway steam team at the moment. I've got Emily and Edward in Scotland at the moment, but I won't reveal the identities of the individuals, right? When they know me too well, it's because of the real live event. When people wake up and smell that coffee, it brings a whole new meaning, a whole new perspective. I had said, look, I've seen this happen before. I know what's going to happen next. Right? What happened was, very cleverly, right? The second gen did what the first gen did. Why? Then the diesel team starts to come in. Ding, ding, ding. Why? The diesel team screw it up. Like they always do. Right? You can't blame fight them, but because they're human beings after all. Then you've got the steam team trying to get back in, but they can't because they have got the full team at the moment. I can't go in straight away unless they acknowledge it, of course, because I'm part Hatt, so I'm able to go in. Yes, I'll be able to do it as a businessman. Yes, I'm able to establish what is a need and what is a want. I establish what I can do for you. I can establish everything else. But when it comes to the management, they all screw up. Why? Why? If I was talking to every one of them, they have strengths and weaknesses, right? Their weaknesses is what's making them making. They may have good strengths in certain departments or strengths in this and strengths in that. and understand this and understand that, but they will not. They're pulling the string right now, right at the moment, right? You don't see it, and then you got Sydney on top. He's not well, and I understand that. But I'm the next one in power to control that railway. Why? I am in power of that railway. Why? Because there's things that unfolded that wasn't shown to Sydney, or who Harker, if you want to call him correctly. All his management are dying, one by one by one. Why? Bad diesel blood. Right? Right? A lot of people don't know what they got themselves into. You see, we had a similar problem in the past that actually made this problem even worse than what it is. Right? My grandfather was the very cleverest man in the world, even the senior, may I add. Right? We have to acknowledge that. Right? Even my father was very clever. And now you got me. You got a learning curve to learn from. Stop playing with the trains at the moment and start focusing on the management and myself. We're so bloody focused. You're so focused on what you want. You're not worried about how people are needing your in the way you're treating the railway. It's disrespectful. It's like it's like spitting bad blood out, basically. Right? You have to acknowledge that you're in the wrong. You have to acknowledge that you've got to put things right. Yes, you didn't help the situation at the beginning, or are fully understand or fully aware of what was unfolding in front of you. You couldn't put the two pieces together. Without those two pieces, you can't work out why. I'm always around. But when you want something done correctly, you need to put yourself and realize it's real. It's real. It's real life. We can't screw it up. Well, you're trying to screw up everything that's already been. Even when good stuff comes to you, you screw up. Big time screw up. Right? And then people at the Norfolk Railway are so badly screwed up, they don't know which way they want to turn, or who to go to, or who to acknowledge, or who to understand at the moment. Right? So you've got to put two things correctly back together again to establish I'm right. The North Norfolk Railway themselves don't know how lucky they are to have me, and they don't. They think that oh, we didn't understand. We didn't realise you were the next one in line. We did not realise. Oh, we're sorry about this. We're sorry we threw you out. We're sorry about this. No, the apologies are not required right now. The problem is now the North Norfolk Railway has got to start learning. They got to start learning who and what is expected of them. The steam team will always be on the front lines, but they're not allowed to go in there just yet. The steam team, the diesel team in general, have to realise how screwed up they are and what they've done wrong. And you got to realise every person's personality works with every one of us. It doesn't matter which coordination it does, but it just makes you self-aware, self-system to realise why is this not going forward, or why is this coming back to us? Why is this negative, negative information coming back, or positive information coming through as well? It's just a bit of both to get your learning curve started, right? You've got to start somewhere, obviously, and then you've got to work out why. You know what? Sometimes you don't know how lucky you are until it's gone. That's the bloody problem with you guys. I know I'm not blaming the community as a whole, but the community understands where I'm coming from. And they don't know how lucky they are when they lose. When they lose it, then they will cry wolf even more. Why? Because they will lose something they can't gain back. So when I'm really down to earth to try and sort you all out, it's like saying like the community's already sidelined, safeguarded with my team. They don't need to be going into that premises like a bullet like hell every day. No, what we're gonna do is take them out, put them in a safeguard direction, and then get them understand everything correctly. Then the North Norfolk Railway will have to come to terms that they screwed up. We acknowledge that. You acknowledge that. The thing is, the whole thing has been played out for so damn long, from 1845 all the way to the future. I can't change what's already been written, right? I acknowledge that what I have to do is my job. It's a job that I was meant to do, and I will carry it out, right? We acknowledge that there's things that need to be well prepared for us. This is no ordinary learning curve. You know what I mean? It's like saying helping people to understand, right? Helping people to understand why we are so gifted, why why I know so much, and why we come together. You basically got to realise that Thomas the Tank Family that actually exists for a reason. It's to safeguard the timeline. Now, if the timeline got broken, I've got to fix it. And regardless of the situation, and obviously everything is unfolding correctly to a certain level, and then the North Norfolk Railway will end up thinking, why are you coming back here when we banned you? Now, that's the question they asking, right? And I said, you banned me for no reason. Because you had false information given to you by certain people. And it wasn't from me directly. So who screwed up? Devious Diesel and his wife, and Daisy, obviously. We knew there'd be a time that mistakes can be corrected, right? There are certain things that you need, I need, we all need. But then you got to realise, why is these other people coming in? Why are they helping out? Why? Because they bloody part of a new generation. When you wake up and smell that damn coffee, you got to realise they're learning. But they also have to learn everything we have learned. They can't move forward without me. So with you saying, do this job, they won't do it. If you apply something to them, they won't activate it until I'm on the platform. Why? Because I'm no more. Look, if you take out one person out, and take out all the communities, let's say not the community, let's say the employees and the volunteers, you lose nothing, you gain nothing. So when the North Norfolk Railway is just stuck in the bubble, can't do nothing, what can you do with a bubble? You could burst it and then get rid of it, but you can't. It's unpenetrable. Why? Because it's safeguarded. Why? Ask yourself the question. It's a simple one. People are understanding more than what your brain can handle in one day. But it makes you see sense what's next on the line. You got me supposed to be on that platform, then you got Richard, then you have Emily, right? We all established that. But the worst thing you could do is screw yourselves over and acknowledge that you know what's unfolded, you know what's about to be unfolded, you know how to correct the problem, you know how to do it, but you don't want to do it because you want to leave it as a bloody black market on the North Norfolk Railway checkboard or chessboard. So acknowledge that you screwed up. So acknowledge who lost. The North Norfolk Railway does it, because the North Norfolk Railway is not going to give you nothing. It won't gain you anything. It won't not help you with anything. when you acknowledge that when these events occurred or unfolded correctly the way they should, my friend Nick, my friend Harpy from America, my private connection from America, stated to you, you're gonna get stumped. Why? Because you are getting stumped by me. Why? Because you need to correct things that need to be corrected. You can't correct them by asking new employees to do their jobs. Well, they can do, obviously, but without me being on the premises, they will not appreciate what they got. This is a thing when you took out the thing, you basically fucked up the thing. You know, you can't do that. It's it's against the rules near enough. Even if I know what you're up to, I said, look, I'm not blaming the employees, I'm blaming the management. Because bad management makes a bad railway, right? So you have to establish that you're not going to win that battle because you're lost. You know, I'm providing the information as you go. And I said, okay, if you don't believe that, explain to yourself why you lot are working on that railway and not realise how screwed up you are. You know, people go to arm's length to recorrect things like this. People go to arm's length to recorrect this, that, bang, whatever. Doesn't matter which engine it was at the time, right? People are going to start picking up on things and they're going to start realizing the facts, the truth, the logic. How does he know this? The question is, ask yourself the question. It's the person's personality that does it, right? We all establish that. But the North Norfolk Railway don't give a at the moment. They don't give a damn. They've got security. They think they've got security. They've got bullshit. Excuse my language. They've got a lot of BS. So when you got a lot of BS in front of you, take the BS out because they get to the point and acknowledge the mistakes, acknowledge what you got, acknowledge how lucky you are to have me. Don't get me wrong, and acknowledge that what you got is what you've been given as a gift. I'm not just the world's pawn I'm not a pawn to one person. One gift for one person. I'm one gift for the globe. So when people expect of me to do the right job at the right position, to sort this out, sort that out, sort this out, sort that out, you're going to ask yourself that very question yourself and ask, why is he here on this planet? The thing I could give you is history. A lot of people want to move forward. When they told, before I was booted out or being asked to be leaving the premises a second time, they acknowledged to me they wanted to call the police. Right? I told them, don't bloody bother because you've been misleading them. Why? Because the truth will always set everybody free. Why? I have connections. People that certain people in my family have connections around the globe. People that they respect. We respect. But we don't disrespect the railway in general. The railway disrespected us. So what did they lose? What they gained. So work it out. Work out the thing what I'm trying to establish with you. You had a thing that was very to important to you as on the railway and on the railway. Why? Let me put this in another perspective for you, right? To acknowledge why this learning curve is so important. You're not there just to listen. You're listening to learn on here. You're gaining knowledge. You're gaining respect. But some of people are finding that as a load of hoax job when it isn't. Right? It's basically the facts are on you. The facts are every day. Fact. What we do on a day-to-day basis, everyday basis. and our personal experiences become a part of the franchise, part of bloodline, everything. It's all connected, right? People assume in the past they thought it was all hoax, they thought it was all cuckoo people. But let me tell you something, right? Duck had this type of problem before. One of my engines that I deal with, right? He had a similar problem long time ago. It's in Duck's story fully, but I'll break it down a bit, right? Duck had to be examined the same way and acknowledge that he was intelligent, he wasn't stupid, he was not everything. He was just very bright, you know. Intelligent people got examined and been put on medication that he should not been on and acknowledged that he was intelligent being on a planet, right? But he had one piece, but he didn't have the other piece. So how did the other piece come together? Now acknowledge that with the Norfolk Railway. They got rid of something they needed. Right? Right? They see me as the unwanted bit, right? In fact, they fucked up and took out the main thing they needed. So they screwed up what they shouldn't. I didn't do nothing wrong, they did. So work it out. When this happened before, my grandfather was the other one. Why? Now the truth is going to set you really completely free. You want to learn the hard way? I'm going to give it to you on a learning curve because you're learning the hard way with to gain this knowledge. I said, how did you know about that? How did you know this? I said, I know everything. Right? I don't need to tell you how I know. Right? It's all in my mind, intelligently, mentally, physically, all of it, right? Do you think I am deaf, dumb, and stupid? And I said, no, I wasn't. My great uncle had to keep his gob shut because he had to let it play out. While you were all sitting there like ducks before he's dead, before my great uncle died, right? You done the job that you were meant to be doing, right? When he passed away, the diesel team were in their prime, which I'd probably say in their probably foot. I was probably a young boy at the time. Don't get me wrong. And you have to learn the hard way. Say he was brought up by 5 years old, and he learnt this and he learnt that. While I was learning about my railway heritage, bang! What do you think I learnt at the end? My whole family, friends, connections, colleagues, the full work. So when you think you're lucky to get one thing, don't discriminate it and boot the person that discovered who he is and what he's meant to do. So by booting me out, you screwed up everything near enough. So the diesel team and the management need to screw their heads on and realise they screwed up. They're badly screwed up because they don't know what to do with themselves. Right? The Norfolk Railway can run by the volunteers on their initial approach. They don't need a bloody management all the time because bad management makes a bad railway. Right? You have to acknowledge that there is things on that railway that is precious as gold. Not just me. So you may kick that one half, but you can't destroy the other half. Why? Because it's already playing out as the way it should. The only problem is you destroyed yourselves in the process. So work it out. What did you do wrong? You can't destroy the building, you can't destroy the railway, and you basically can't destroy me because I'm too precious as gold. So when I say that, right, why is that? Acknowledge to yourselves you've got somebody that's precious as gold and a lot of information. Like I said, if Duck was here, we'll say it's either the Great Western Way or the No Way. right? When you got something that's connected with the Norfolk Railway and the whole lot, why? When you're a railway man or woman, vice versa, it doesn't matter what sex you are, you're taking on a great responsibility, but your personality gives it away a little bit, right? You have to acknowledge that you have to be held responsible of your actions, right? The Norfolk Railway screwed themselves over, right? They screw it up so bloody badly they don't know what to do with themselves. They don't give a damn if you really want this they don't ask no more. They just observe. What they're doing is the management don't give a shit, right? During all the time I've been on that railway, have I seen the management all the time? The answer is no, because they all screwed up in their heads. So when they've got a learning curve to go through, ask yourself that very, very old question that keeps floating backwards and forth to you, right? The steam team is ready. I'm ready. We're all on standby. But why? The Norfolk Railway is badly screwed up. Doesn't matter what website they're using or what Facebook they're using or TripAdvisor, people will eventually see the true colours of the Norfolk Railway for what it is. Right? You're not going to win because it's not a winning scenario here. The problem is you're lost. The thing is, by booting me out, you got the truth out. Basically, who screwed up? Not me. Don't blame me. I'm innocent. So work it out. When the thing comes to you, you don't know how lucky you are. And when you get that thing, or myself, or whatever, it doesn't matter, you don't expect that a person that's got so much railway knowledge, but then you got to work it out. Why has he got this? Why has he got that? Why has he got this language? Why he's got this and all of that? How did he know about that? How did he know about? I've got private connections everywhere. In a circle, the society, the whole whack. Wake up and smell the damn coffee for once. Every day we talk about this. You're the one who's losing out every day. I've got to try to make every day is a special day. For you guys, it's learn, 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 and learn. Don't back off, right? When people come to me, they either respect me or they could lose their job, right? The management at the Norfolk Railway screwed themselves over, big time. They ain't waked up yet up here in the heads. So when they are trying to work themselves out, work their way around it, and well, how do you know that? I said, I know what you're talking in the management room and saying, look, these people have done. Somebody will pick up where I'll probably leave off for a little bit and work out and say, oh, fuck, he's told. They will say, oh, fuck, he's told the truth. He's told the truth. Oh, shit, he's worked us out. Do you know how I worked out that Diesel was doing a bad thing? He had a paperwork with all my employees and volunteers' names in it. Did you think I was in that office for no reason with, with Andrew Mudden? No. He was backstabbing everybody. So work it out, by the time I got out of the door, I was safe and sound. So it was like being introduced to Diesel before I even say he can do his actions. These actions are cruel hearted and selfish. Now look at yourselves. Just because you believed his lies, you've now booted out all of us. So who lost out? You do. And that's not like saying we are in the wrong because we're not. Because we corrected most of the mistakes because of Diesel's actions. Right? So work it out. I was in the office that's now locked up because you don't have me up there. And you screwed up. So work it out. When people realise how screwed up they are, they will end up realising he was telling the truth all this time. And it will unfold in front of you. Different people will go on that platform, and then they will start at the bottom, probably near enough to a degree. Or shall I say, reincarnations of everything. So, except the porters and the guards that are all present day business, all the regional communityists and all that won't bother go on there. Why? Because they I'm not on there, am I? So when you screw up, what happens? The whole thing goes kapooey to a point. But I'm not. You see, there are a lot of things you can't see I will notify. Right? Every day is a special day. We don't just call it's not just a normal day for all of us. Right? We learn, we curve, we do everything. We just want you to realise the North Norfolk Railway is off limits. Doesn't matter if you want to volunteer there or not. The problem is the volunteers and the employees that were booted out in 2019 were all listed in my office or Andrew Mudden's office. Now imagine that. That was not shown on camera. It was shown in my eyeballs, so I know. Then I asked him a simple question: why is these people getting booted out? I was already on the ball and on on the ball and on case. Why? Got to solve a mystery there. So what did I do? When I left the door, I played deaf, dumb, and stupid, and then right, Daisy had to go at me, right, and she said, "You either come in or you could f off." Excuse my French, but that's how she puts it. I came in the next day, dude, on a Monday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Done the washing up with no arguments, no disputes, no nothing. You can't blame me for that either, right? Then I proved my point, but then it went from Daisy and Devious Diesel's wife, all on the same table in the restaurant area, with me and my mother included, right? Right? My mother expected me to be safe. Was I safe? No, because they put me in somewhere where I shouldn't be. So, when my back was getting trying to be overkill, what do you think happened? Then I had to go at Andrew Mudden's wife, Divas Diesel's wife. And then she told me, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I told her to back off. And that's it. That was the last time I ever was on the platform because I already knew what her husband was doing. So when it came down to every employee and every volunteer that got mistreated, mis- misled, or sworn at or cursed at, what do you end up with? A bad railway, bad system, bad appreciation for it. I am going to be honest with you. Do not go on that railway unless I'm there. If I'm not there, just wait until I'm on that surface because what they're doing wrong right now, they've got one big problem and they can't solve it. Why? Because they've got a learning curve to go through. A big learning curve that needs understanding, protocol, principles, understanding. Wake up, smell the coffee, and actually watch it with your own eyes and ears, and you'll see that they are asking for strengths and weaknesses. They always put you where you don't want to be, right? But in the learning curve department, they did not know that I was a hat behind the door. So work it out. I went into my own office, but not my office yet, is it? So Ask yourself a question. Why do you go to arm's length to push and push and push? Why? And you ending up with one problem. The North Norfolk Railway can't run properly, could it? So they badly screwed up. They don't give a damn about anybody that comes into that platform. All they care about is the money factor, which we always keep going back to. So think about the railway, right, as a static object, right? A static object that doesn't have nobody on it, right? No employees, no volunteers, just a bad management. And they running their asses trying to look for people, right? Getting people in, getting people out, putting people right, respectively, and then put the people that what they will do next if they know their management skills, right? They will look back at the old people, the former team members, and and they will say, "What? Why did M&GN kick all of these bozos out?" Right? I'm not calling them bozos, but I mean colleagues of mine. Right? They will look back at my colleagues and all of that, and they will say, "Why did they get this and this and this, mistreated, misguided, sworn at, discrimination, and all of that?" And then what they will do is they will end up clicking. Why? And then they will look at it and they will say, "Oh fuck," and then that will click. And then what happens is the learning curve starts again. Strike one, strike two. I said the management is going to get booted out. Why? For bad, for letting it happen. Number one, and number two is spreading rumours and lies and deceits on Diesel's part, of course. And it will all click, 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 click. Why? And then it will all come back to me saying, "You're innocent. You've been innocent all this time." But people say the best way to catch a criminal, as they say, is let it play out and let the bad apple come to you. Right? The thing is, the North Norfolk Railway screwed up. What do you do with a bad apple? We talk about this episode, the big bad apple. We all well when Diesel talks about it, and they said that Steamies isn't so bad as Diesel's because they all came into the same package. Why? Now I'm going to tell you something that will hit you in the face, and it will be a learning curve in the perspective. Right? When we all think about it quite clearly, right? How many of you actually know what's going on? Right? We all take Wild Noresta's timeline quite seriously, right? Right, Sodor the early years, Sodor the modern years, plus the plus its actual specials on top, right? The bad apple is one of the specials, right? And what people don't get in the end of the day, they don't even realise how lucky they are until they screw up. Well, I started in season 4, so this is why it goes a little bit confused.com, but there you go. Right? When it comes to the special, obviously, you have to be understanding that it's the bad apple, right? Right? It says in the feature length in the events of 2 generations now where Diesel comes to Sodor and frames Duck, which he can do. He done it the first time, but the second time he couldn't. Why? Because he screwed up. So when you think of Andrew Mudden and his bloody cronies, think about it. You got Sydney as well, Plaxton, and quite a few others, and then people are going to start asking questions, right? You want people to support you and your acknowledgement? Ask yourself a question. Why do you think I am knowing everything that's unfolding? Not just because I read or right, or understand quite a few things. I'll tell you now, there is a lot of things that are unfolding now that you're screwed up. But in all this bad apple, one diesel said steamies are really useful in diesels sometimes, but not all the time. So when you think of all of this as unfolding correctly, ask yourself, why is it in reverse for me as it is going forward for all of you guys? DNA and all of that, you see? Not everybody's not going to get the easiest way out around it. I said there's more to it than the naked eye. When you think about it, why did we actually understand everything that's unfolding? I said, just look at it logically, mentally, physically, all of it. So when you got Wild Northwester's timeline in play, how badly screwed up are you? This is what I'm saying. With all of that being said, you want a learning curve, you're going to have to learn it a hard way. Just watch as it unfolds, because sometimes if you intervene and you screw up, I will know about it before you even say, Jack, if you target me. You know, it's a bit like saying there's a thing before the thing and you screwed up the first time round. People got hurt. They got offended. They got booted out. They got everything onto the platter. And you've got a big list of employees and volunteers right there and there. They didn't deserve to be booted out. And now what are you going to do? Now let's talk about the engines you're supposed to have on the island. Right? We all take our engines quite usefully, don't we? Right? We got Thomas, we got Edward, we got Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Duck. Then it goes to Alice, Diesel, Bear, D261, and then troublesome trucks, obviously a spiteful brake van. Then you got my father, Sir Charles Topham Hatt, who's still alive. British Railways Controller, obviously. The policeman, obviously, Oliver, Eric, and Barry. But that's only a few of them. But then you got to work out why. Why is it played out so damn well? Because there's no lie in it. So work it out. So you got the flashback, and you got forward, and you're going forward. Now wake up and smell the damn coffee. Because in the day, it's unfolding in front of you. So I corrected most of my mistakes. Now it's just the Norfolk Railway fixing theirs. But they're not going to fix it over there, are they? They destroyed themselves before they didn't realise they booted out somebody that's their manager, the top dog, as they call me, and they basically threw me out. I said, "One move," but in reality, you got to realistically say, yeah, people don't know how lucky they are until they lose it. It's the one thing they will not understand at all. They will find out why they got something, and they ending up finding out that they screwed up. Why? Because the Norfolk Railway is like that on an everyday basis. So when you think about the Norfolk Railway today, don't go on it. Don't even go on it. You know what I mean? It's just at this moment it hasn't got a clear head, it hasn't got a clear mind, and they've got people working on there that are probably part of season 4 to 5, and acknowledge that everything is unfolding correctly, which it should, and acknowledge that a lot of the employees and the volunteers got framed. That's that, simple as. But booting out one of their own management, bad move. But the next podcast will be something that you should wake up for, right? And it will open your eyes. Thank you very much.